Truth of the matter is, not all leads book themselves. Speed wins, structure closes, and today you get a plug-and-play CRM cadence, a DM playbook, a hiring timeline, and compensation plans to make appointment setting a machine. Most founders, here's their pain. They do a couple calls, they do some texts, they, maybe some DMs, but there's not like a whole lot of cadence behind it. They don't really have targets. Nobody's really taking ownership of where are these leads, what happens to them. They just kind of show up and maybe you get to them, which means the response time, it slips, the pipeline, it rots, and your calendar goes empty when you get busy. Today, you will leave with a 7-day CRM cadence, a 7-day DM cadence, and a rule for when to hire a setter or a commission-only setter, and a step-by-step hiring and onboarding plan with KPIs. So the proof of the matter is we run setting across go high level and social DMs with speed to lead under a minute. We do multi-channel follow-up, we do clean dispositions, and a simple scoreboard, and it works because the inputs are owned. We know what we're tracking. So here's the plan. We're going to talk through the CRM cadence, we're going to talk through the DM cadence, we're going to talk when and how to hire, and we're going to talk through training and management. Numero uno, the CRM cadence. We're talking pipeline stages. You want new lead, attempted contact, connected, qualified, booked, no-show, reschedule, deal won or lost, dead lead, and also future lead. Those are kind of the golden rules of where a lead might be in the pipeline. There's a lot of different names for these. We've used new lead, first contact, second contact, third contact, call booked, opportunity, no-show, or call booked, opportunity, agreement sent, agreement follow-up, deal closed, future lead, dead lead. All those are fine. Just a way to see when a lead got in contact with you and where they are in the pipeline. So here's some golden rules. The first call, as soon as somebody provides their information to you, you should be calling them in under 60 seconds during your normal business hours. That is, if you can call a lead within 60 seconds, the likelihood that you close that scale goes up exponentially. Additionally, always do multi-channel and then aim for 10 touches minimum across 7 days in a 7-day sequence. So, and here's what I mean by multi-channel. I'll walk through some of it. Let's talk through the 7-day sequence. So, day 0, first day intake, you're calling them immediately. If no answer, what I like to do is I like to give myself permission to send them a text and an email in the voicemail. That might look like the following. It goes beep, and then I say, hey, this is Nick from All Things Media. Couldn't get a hold of you, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to shoot you an email and a text message to try to get a hold of you to schedule a time. Something along that language to essentially say, I'm going to do this thing, and now I have to do this thing because I want to keep my word. And then they will expect it if they listen to the voicemail. Day 1, the next day, you're going to do a call in the morning and you're going to send them a text message. And then in the afternoon, you're going to send them an email with a quick case study link. And then once again, send them a text message in the evening. On the third day, you're going to call. This would be day 2, since we did day 0, 1, 2. You're going to call them with a voicemail, ask them a binary question. Usually, what I like to do is use language around priority, especially if they have something already in their application, or you have that information of like what their goals are, their website, their business, what they're chasing, their roadblocks. It's a lot easier to say like, hey, you said this was your goal. Is that still a priority? Because obviously it is. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given you that. And you always want to make it easy to reply. You don't want to ask like a super complicated question, especially if you're leaving a voicemail or something like that. Then you could shoot them another text with 2 times to choose from to set a time to chat with them. The next day, you're going to want to do a pattern interrupt email with 2 options, once again, plus an SMS with a link to some more social proof or a link to book a call. And obviously, some of this is dependent whether the lead is responsive or not. Day 4, you're going to call and send a text. And then this would be sooner in the cadence for me. You can send a short Loom if it's relevant. But typically what I like to do is I will, in that first call, so I call them, let's say they don't answer, I will send them a Loom that is super intentional and hyper-personalized to their application, how I can help. And this is only for great fits. If it's an okay fit or a bad fit, then I'll just shoot a normal email. But for great fits, you should really I hate to use the term go all out, but you should make it really personalized and intentional, because if it's someone you want to work with, you should make it apparent that you want to work with them. The appointment setting process is the first, outside of the ad that they responded to, or we'll talk about social in a minute, but let's assume this is coming from an ad. This is the first time that they're actually encountering your business or your business personnel. So it's important to make a good first impression. Otherwise, it's like, I will respond to ads. And if they don't hit me up in the first 1 to 5 minutes, I'm like, they're probably not a serious business. That's what I think. And that may be because I'm in the game now, but I'm like, oh, well, they don't have a system in place for this. I will know if I'm a good quality fit for something. And if I don't qualify and they don't reach out, you get the point. Next, after the day 4, you can text with credibility, a little blurb and a soft deadline like, hey, we're gonna start closing some files here. Day 6, you're gonna give them a final call. We're gonna close your file. Day 7, if you still want help with X, if this is still a priority to you, you said this thing, I'm using your words for you to agree with, because you won't agree with anything I say. You'll agree with whatever you said. And then you can move it to a dead lead if they really do not show. You could do a no-show rescue after that. If somebody doesn't show up to a call, that's a whole different cadence. You can then tag them as a dead lead if all of this happens and they're still not responsive. And if somebody goes into a dead lead, what you'll want to do is add a 30, 60, 90 reactivation campaign. Always have a reactivation campaign running every 30, 60, 90 days, because a dead lead truly isn't really dead until they say no and they want you to go away, and they block you or something like that, or whatever, or they explicitly tell you they don't ever want to hear from you and they hate you or something like that. But a lot of times people just get busy and maybe the 7 days go by quick and they're not as hot of a lead, so you do not focus on them as much, but then a reactivation campaign will bring them back in the game and then they turn into a hot lead again. This episode has been brought to you by All Things Media. We build you a powerful online presence so you can be seen as an authority and bring consistent high quality leads. Book a call with my team or myself through the description below. We look forward to talking with you. In any case, let's say you book a call and they don't show up, which you can do. There's a handful of ways that you can do this, and I will walk you through a couple of them. You can call and text them within 5 minutes, offer 2 times, and then once again run a 3-day mini cadence to get them back into the mix. That is one way to do it. I think this would be dependent on if you have an appointment setter or if you're doing this yourself. If somebody is 2 minutes late typically to a sales call, I will call them. And if they don't answer, I will call them 2 more times. And you might say, that seems like a lot. I hate wasting my time. Don't ever waste my time. You said you wanted this call. You scheduled this call on my calendar and then you didn't show up. I'm calling you 3 times. You said you wanted it. And I don't want to waste my time. And I imagine most people don't want to waste their time either. So that's why I call 3 times. And then I shoot them a text. So, because think about it. First call gets blocked by do not disturb, and maybe they just lost track of time. Second call, it gets through, but maybe they didn't reach it in time. Third call, they're either ignoring it intentionally or they have an opportunity. And I've gotten people to pick up on the second and third call. So that's why you do it multiple times. All right, let's move on to the DM cadence. We're getting wordy here. I'm trying to pack as much information as I can. The goal is to move from a public micro engagement to the DM to qualify in about 3 exchanges or less, and then book them on a call. Basically, qualify them as quickly as you can inside the DMs. Let's say it's a warm entry. They're replying to a story. They're commenting on one of your posts or even 2 or 3 posts. They DM you referencing it, or they respond to a mini chat thing that you got set up, an automation like that. So here's a 7-day flow that you can use. This is if you're reaching out to somebody who you thought would be a good fit, like maybe they're engaging with your stuff. You could reach out and DM them and say, saw your post on a topic, or saw your post on whatever. Are you trying to accomplish a goal this quarter? There's 2 approaches to the DMs. There's outbound and there's inbound. So inbound would be when somebody is reaching out to you based on something that they saw. Outbound would be maybe they're already interacting with your stuff. You reach out to them. Something like that would look like would say, saw your post on a topic. Are you trying to accomplish a goal that you can help with, obviously, this quarter or soon, or whatever the case may be. Next, you can send them a 20 to 30 second voice note. Voice notes work really well in DMs because it shows that you are an actual person. It has empathy. There's a micro win there, and you can toss in a binary question for them to respond. And then next, you can do 1 screen audit or 30-second Loom. If I'm in the DMs, I'm asking, what's your big goal this year? What's blocking you from this goal? This is what I found to be successful. Do you want to talk about it? Those are basically the big 3. And then as far as the 7-day cadence for the DMs, You're essentially going to want to walk through those 3 that I just mentioned and implement as much personalization as you can. So the 30-second Loom, offer them 2 messages path, like a quick call, or provided them with a resource if they still don't seem quite ready to jump on a call, which would be a case study. Provide them with a testimonial with outcomes and have it be time bound. And then you can do a soft close of like, are you open to a 15-minute map call this week since you said that this is your goal? And then you can close the loop on these messages. And then you can just continue to nurture. I think the best thing about doing lead nurturing inside of Instagram is, unlike text messages and unlike calling, Instagram people are jumping on every single day. And you can see when they're active, and you can see when they were last active, and you can see when they read your messages, all of those things. So it's a really, really good place to be getting leads and nurturing leads and speaking with leads, because so many things can prompt another conversation. So like, even if a lead goes cold, you might post something and that might just immediately resonate with them, and that kicks the conversation back open again. Or they post something and that kicks the door open for you again. People are always in their DMs. So I like the Instagram DM workflow. All right, next we're going to talk about when to hire and how to pay a setter. So here's how you know when to hire an appointment setter. You can hire a setter with a base plus per show, paying them per qualified lead that shows up when you have 40 plus new leads a week or 20 qualified replies in your DMs, and speed to lead is often over 5 minutes. The founder spends more than 6 hours a week on follow-up, or your show-up rate is under 60%. Those are good times to hire a appointment setter. Next, you can hire a commission-only appointment setter when lead volume is inconsistent, but intent is really strong, and your close rate is proven and tracking is tight. That's another way to know when to do which style, either the base with some show up kicker or the commission only. Some other comp options would be base plus per show plus small per sale kickback. So basically you're paying them a base of X amount per hour. You give them a little juice when somebody shows up that's a qualified lead, and then you give them another little juice if that sale closes. Got it? Another way you can do it is paying them per show for only qualified leads. You have to be really specific what that means. So usually the 4 things that you want in terms of a qualified lead would be buying power, authority to make a decision, a need for your actual service, and then timing, urgency. So if you can qualify those 4, you could pay that per qualified lead show. And then you could also do it per sale. And you should only do this when you have a seasoned closer and reliable tracking in place. But most often, you're probably going to find either the base in commission or purely just commission. Next would be hiring, training, and management. You should have a hiring funnel. It's pretty similar to how you should be onboarding your clients, is how you should onboard your employees. There should be a checklist that they go through, and there should be milestones along the way. Something might look like you have a job post with the mission, the hours, the KPIs, the tools, 5-minute Loom, showcasing the screen, walking through things, a practical test with the appointment setter with a mock call, and 10 outbound texts. If you do a 1-week paid trial, then do onboarding week 1 or day 1. They get the playbooks, the SOPs. They do day 2. They're going to shadow and mirror likely you, if you're the founder that we're saying is overwhelmed. Day 3, the appointment setter is going to work solo, and then you're going to review that work at noon to provide feedback, and then they can implement that feedback for the back half of the day. And then day 4 to 5, they're going to get full cadence and ownership. You're going to keep a close eye, but they should have full agency because now they should be caught up to speed. KPIs to start tracking, if you're not currently tracking any, would be speed to lead, the contact rate, like how, based on how many leads are coming in, are we reaching all of them, which should be 100%. Booked and show rates, notes on quality, or how quality are the notes on these leads, and then booked to close rate. Also, for the rhythm in terms of communication with them, you can have a daily stand-up, you can have an end of the day scoreboard. You can also do a weekly coaching session with 3 call reviews. That's totally up to you, but the more feedback you provide, typically the better, but obviously don't overwhelm your appointment setter. All right, here you go. Here's the action plan for you. You should pick one channel to nail down first for the appointment setting, and you're likely already going to know what that is because most of the time, when you're scaling up, your leads are all coming from one place. So if you're starting with the CRM first, install that 7-day cadence and enforce dispositions like we mentioned earlier. If you're starting with the DM first, you can ship the 7-day DM flow that I mentioned. Send a voice note today to one of your prospects just to get in the rhythm of it. And then if your volume or response time meets the hiring rules that we outlined, you could post for the role and run a 1-week paid trial. If you like this episode and want to learn more, go ahead and subscribe, leave a comment, and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Bye.